Go to jmohr.com and click that Amazon banner. If you're going to buy anything through Amazon, do it through jmohr.com. My man Michael B. from Carson, California. This is your podcast, dude. You did it. I appreciate it. Michael B. says, check out what I just bought through your Amazon link at jmohr.com. I bought this handy storage box to keep all of my important documents, along with a new phone case and I think he meant to say battery, but I'll give you the pass, Michael B. Totaling about $30. Friends, goes to show you. It's not how much you buy. It's just the fact that you're getting after it using the Amazon banner. I appreciate it. Michael B. goes, I'm not the only crazy person left in this world. My best wishes to Nikki and the kids. Put your name on it, Jay Mohr's, your fellow Mohrier. Michael B., Carson, California. Michael B., thank you very much. You guys go to jmohr.com, click that Amazon banner. If you're going to buy anything through Amazon, do it through jmohr.com, and that's how we keep this podcast up and running. Much love, Michael B. from Carson, California. Put your name on it.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want to battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
Mohr Stories podcast with the great Mark McGrath, lead singer of Sugar Ray. And I got to tell you something. You have some big-ass feet on you, dude. When we were in the garage at the Fake Mustache Studios, now we're on an undisclosed location, I didn't notice that you were rocking the size 18 Bob McAdoo Pumas there.
Do they look that big, dude?
Bro, you got some.
It's a 12.
That's a 12?
Yeah, it's a 12, and I got the Irish curse, so, it ain't the big feet kind of thing, you know what I mean?
So big feet means big socks and shoes, that's it?
And little underwear, yep.
Yeah, you could put out fires with them feet. Yeah,
got the blood orange Clydes on, the suede Pumas, dude. I love these things.
Don't wear those in a Crip neighborhood, man.
I'm actually good. These are orange.
You know what? It's blood orange, but it really looks like University of Texas.
It's got a good feel to it, doesn't it?
It does feel nice.
And the problem with these suedes, if a drop of water gets on them, shoes ruined. Because it's got that dot on them. That's the problem with these Clydes. I haven't worn them in a while, but you get a dot of water on them, it's there forever.
And you have kids, so there's a lot of things dropping at all times. You have twins.
I got twins.
How old are your twins?
Turned 4 yesterday. Yesterday being April 29th.
We record this podcast about a month ago. So if you're listening to this, you're in a time machine. Mark McGrath's time is precious because he's on the Under the Sun tour, underthesuntour.com with Blues Travelers, Spin Doctors, Uncle Cracker. It's an incredible tour. Basically, if you like hits from the 90s, that's the tour. So in a break of the tour, Mark McGrath agreed to come to the Jay Mohr Sports radio studios, and we're going to bang out this podcast. So that's when you say, the date. I just want to clarify for people going, well, April 29th.
Gotcha. I'm slow,
But you're not that slow.
Yeah, you're so quick. We're talking how quick you are. You're so quick, Jay, that when I talk to you, I feel like you're already on to something else.
Well, that's not because I'm quick and smart. It's because I have ADHD.
But there's 9 things going on in your head at all times, correct? I mean, you're thinking about sports. You're thinking about your family. I mean,
no, I didn't mean to cut you off so loudly. No, you are wrong.
Get used to that. You are wrong, sir.
British House of Commons.
That's incorrect. Look across the dispatch box and tell the Prime Minister he's boring, the geezer.
Nay.
Like one-on-one like this, if you say something of import to me that I think is interesting, I'm thinking to myself, don't forget that for later. I'm kind of cataloging for later in the podcast.
But you're in the now too, which is incredible.
I practice being present. I'm a Catholic who is an aspiring Buddhist, and I will die an aspiring Buddhist because enlightenment probably won't come my way. I already have kids myself, so we're both enlightened. But going back to twins.
But the Irish Catholic thing, I'd like to stop you right there because I'm that way too. And are you really a practicing Buddha?
No, I just dig it.
Well, I dig it too.
But I do practice.
Because we used to fight it. And internally, we fight that. Like, because we're a Catholic doctrine and we're taught to believe what we believe. So that whole, like, be here now thing, it's never part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
I imagine not yours either. How did you make that transition? Because I need to find some calmness and peace in my life. There's so much distortion in my head.
It's already inside you. The only Zen you find on a mountaintop is the Zen you carry up there with you.
Well, how do you change that internally?
You just make the conscious decision, and like when you're driving. All right, perfect example.
I want to be a better person, but you have to take steps to do that.
Well, you're a pretty good dude. I don't know about, but if you want peace and you want to, find the signal in the noise, is what I'm hearing from you.
Right. Yes.
There's great books like Everyday Buddhism, Zen quote books, like weird stuff like that.
Right.
And there's little activities you can do, like when you're stuck in traffic. You turn on the radio, you get angry, you're flipping the channels, you listen to Howard Stern, you listen to Opie and Anthony, you listen to music, podcasts. It's the only time in your day that you are alone with yourself, just simply sitting in a chair. Just turn everything off and just sit in traffic.
Oh, I don't know if I could do that.
But no, I'm telling you. That's it.
That's just an exercise you can do.
That's a perfect exercise in simply being present.
I don't believe you do that.
I do it. I do it quite often.
Do you listen to the radio too?
Well, yeah, but when I'm in traffic, I go, oh, this is one of those times, and I just shut it down and I just sit, and the mind wanders and wanders and wanders.
Is it depressing? Like, don't you start, like, thinking too much? I mean, that's my problem. I start thinking too much.
And what do you think about?
Everything going on in my life, dude. Everything. And it just will not, and it forbids me to be in the now, enjoy things. I'm always worrying about tomorrow and the next moment.
You forbid you from
whoever does. It doesn't matter. Whoever's doing that, it's what's happening.
I heard, we're getting back to your big feet. Don't think it. See, that's a catalog. That. No, I'm just kidding. I'm done with feet. Done with feet. That's how much fuck feet.
I have the worst feet, too, dude. I got bunions and...
No worse than mine.
It's a drag. Why, do you have Rodman toes or something?
Bro, I put a picture of my foot on Instagram, Instagram.com/Jay Mohr Sports. Look at that deformity.
See, I got a little of that. Let me, I'm working on that hard.
That's
great. Look.
That's not even, that's just a regular bunion. That's not even close to what I got.
But what do you call that? Hammer time?
That is...
What is that?
Well, that's what I call it when me and the wife are getting freaky. She's like, what about hammer time? Is hammer time going to be here? I'm like, well, hammer time just had a pedicure. He doesn't want to be bothered right now because he had callus remover. What happened was... Huh?
Do you get pedicures?
Oh, yeah.
Are they delicious?
You don't go?
I don't like to be touched. I'm Irish. I don't like massages. I don't like anybody touching my fingernails or my feet or any of that stuff.
I heard a great expression, going back to your Buddhist thing and how do I become more present?
Yes.
Everything you've ever worried about in your life turned out the exact way it was going to anyway. So that helps me a lot, too.
You know what? That is actually so well said. And for some reason, that's it's resonating with me.
All the things that are on your plate right now that you're like, what about this? What about that? What about this? Look, you're going to have a meeting about X, Y, or Z. You're going to have a conversation with so-and-so. It's all going to turn out the way it is anyway. I just discovered this in New York. I went to get a massage, and I had so much buzzing around in my head. And before I went down, I'm in my hotel room, and I went down to the spa to get a massage.
Right.
And I took everything that was bothering me, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I put it inside a white envelope, blank. And when I got to the spa, I handed it to the guy at the front desk, and I said, give this to me when I leave, okay? And then anytime I was on the massage table and something popped into my head, I pictured that white envelope, and I went, no. It's not here. It's over there.
Did you tell yourself to do that, or was that an exercise you know how to do? That's fascinating.
I actually thought of it before because there was a lot going on.
That's a great idea.
And then what happens is stuff that you forgot to put on the list, when they pop up in your head, it's almost like a roach crawling across the floor. It's so inconsequential because it's just by itself.
Right.
Because all these things that bother us is like this monumental...
It piles up.
It's just noise. But like when you put them all in an envelope and seal it and go get your massage, and then when one floats out, you're like, this is like an ant.
It's like you control it. It's almost like mind control. You should be a doctor, dude. There's a lot going on in that brilliant head of yours, Jay.
Great book I read, and I'll text it to you later if you forget. It's by this guy Stein. He's a psychiatrist, but he's a Buddhist, and he realized he couldn't. He was telling people Buddhist stories to help them, but it's a religion. It's completely against the law if you're a doctor to spread any religious beliefs whatsoever, especially for a psychiatrist.
Right.
So we had to figure out a way to re-talk, and he came up with expressions that were not in the Buddhist doctrine to explain.
For example?
On integration. which is I'll get to. But the name of the book is Going to Pieces Without Falling Apart.
Nice.
And it's a great book.
It's like a country lyric.
Right before your dog humps your truck.
Right. Dropkick me Jesus to the goalposts of life.
I love it. He had a bad back problem, the author, and he went on like this Buddhist retreat, and his back was killing him. And there were twins at this retreat that did like a juggling show. They'd throw like bowling pins back and forth, and they taught him to juggle. And he realized as he was juggling, it wasn't until the next day he realized his back didn't hurt when he was juggling because his mind wasn't inside his shell.
Right.
It was outside. It was completely with the balls. He was unintegrated from himself.
What a trip.
On integration.
Is he able to do that with other pains? Like if you hurt your knee? I mean, is that sort of a psychological one? I mean, it's interesting.
Well, that's the one anecdote from the book. I don't know if there's going to be a follow-up. I
could bore the shit out of your listeners, Jay. Believe me. You know what I mean? I'm fascinated by it.
You're the star of Sharknado too. Let's
I don't want to brag. You know, I watched Sharknado last year like everybody else did. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. Tweeting about it, blah, blah, blah. So I was a fan. And then they called me a couple months ago.
You were a fan of the show?
Fan of the movie, yeah. If you've seen Sharknado, you're a fan.
I actually did not see it.
You got to see it, dude. Right. It's Netflix. Go see it.
I'm waiting for the book.
You'll be waiting a long time. So they called me a couple months ago and said, you want to be in Sharknado? Now, I've done some acting, but it's usually a cameo. It's a quick, how you doing? And I'm out of here.
Hey, I'm Mark McGrath.
Yeah, no threat to the movie. No Bob Sugar. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I get the script, and I'm in top to bottom in the entire movie. So I became a huge part of Sharknado 2. It's coming out on July 30th on Sci-Fi Channel, and there is a real passion in that genre. If you like that movie, that type of horror, I mean, you get to go to Comic-Con, you get to go to these horror shows the rest of your life. So
you get a little extra cabbage on the side.
I'm just saying, Jay. So it's nice to be part of that sort of fraternity, if you will, of movie. And finally, a movie that I could be in, which I couldn't even make it bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't require. Daniel Day-Lewis didn't drop out and say, "Let's get McGrath." You know what I mean?
And that did happen. They were doing the sequel to My Left Foot, and Daniel Day-Lewis tapped out, and they got Mark McGrath.
There you go.
But they ran into some financing problems.
Yeah.
Never got made. So Sharknado 1. Did the shark die? Did the Sharknado get destroyed by somebody?
It actually did. It did. But what they're doing now, the lead character, Finn, played incredibly by Ian Ziering, and I will say it's his earnest approach to the role that really resonated with people. Because they make a gang of these shark movies, these horror movies. They make them every single month. But for some reason...
I'm still bugging out that it was played beautifully by Ian Ziering.
It was. And if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm saying.
Right.
Because, there was no winking at the camera, like, look what I'm doing. He played it like he was playing John McClane in Die Hard. I mean, he really took it that seriously. And Ian is that kind of guy. And I think his acting really carried the movie. It kind of like, trickled down to all of us. Am I really talking about like serious acting for Sharknado? And am I really talking about being an actor? But no, he was really hugely responsible for it. And this one's great. I mean, I found myself acting with Judd Hirsch in a cab on Broadway. Judd Hirsch is in it. Robert Klein's in it. Richard Kine's in it. Biz Marquis in it. Matt Lauer.
Snap.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it became a phenomenon. The second one's going to be bigger than the first. So. What I lost you on, Jay, is that what's happening is this first one occurred in Los Angeles, and the lead character, Ian, his character goes back to New York and visits family, and lo and behold, I'm part of family.
So basically, sharks and tornadoes hate Ian Ziering.
That's right. They follow him everywhere, dude.
How did the Sharknado meet its demise in Sharknado?
Chainsaw.
A
chainsaw.
How do you take a chainsaw to a tornado?
Dude, and people right now who've seen the movie are going, Jay, he chainsaws his way out of a shark at the end of the movie. That's all I have to say to you. Now, if that's not enough for you to jump on Netflix right now and watch that
But what happens to the tornado? You can't chainsaw a tornado.
The tornado goes away. They don't stay around. It kind of dissipated and became a weather front, if you will. You know what I mean? It's a phenomenon, Jay. We don't think too much about the logistics of the Sharknado, if you will.
And that's what makes you a good actor.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you're selling yourself short. I think you'd be a really good actor.
Well, we were talking about earlier and how you sell yourself short. You were saying, and listeners, listen, Jay said that he would like to do less with his acting roles, and I was just extolling.
I wish I could do my entire IMDb page over.
That's an incredible thing to say when you were so damn good in everything.
I could be a lot better. Because I would do it less.
What would you do about Bob Sugar's character to make it less? He was brash. He was big. I mean, if you downplayed that, it wouldn't be the great movie that it was. You were going toe to toe with Cruise, dude. That was huge.
I'll tell you, my wife brought this up to me too, because here's the argument in my house. I say I'm a comic and I learned how to act, and my wife said I'm an actor and I learned how to do comedy.
That's interesting.
That's the big thing.
That's a chicken and the egg thing.
And we're both completely certain on our points.
I think you're both right.
That's the thing. And Buddy Hackett said, well, which one are you? And I said, I'm a comic. He goes, then what the hell are we arguing about? You woke me up to complain about something?
You had his ear like that?
Oh, he was like a father to me. I met him after I knew everything.
That's incredible.
You couldn't teach me anything. I was 20 years headlining comedy.
Right.
And then I met Buddy Hackett, and like the old Kung Fu story, just poured everything I had out and just started to refill it with the right stuff.
Was he like laughing at you like, kid, you're going to learn your own ways? Would he let you make your mistakes, or did he like... Why did he take you under his wing too? Because he was in his older years.
Very contentious and cantankerous, and he liked his pops. He liked his tequila. He could hang. And his mood could change on a dime to people. And I saw him treat people very unkindly. But me, Jeff Ross, Ralphie May, he just for some reason he just adored us.
I saw some Popsico in you guys. You think maybe?
Yeah, and he thought like these are the guys that get it, but. I don't think he saw me make mistakes because it's not like he would come to a live gig. And if he did, the mistakes were something that really had nothing to do with stand-up comedy. And I've said this on the podcast before. We were at the MTV Awards, and he goes, why did you walk to the microphone when you presented? And I go, because that's where everybody walks. He goes, that's why you never walk to the microphone.
Nice.
And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you walk in front of the microphone, you wave to a guy in the balcony that paid for parking, and he's on a date. He hopes it goes well. And then you go over to the other side of the stage because nobody ever goes over there and waves to that. You might wave, but you're in the middle. Go all the way over. See what kind of shoes the guy's wearing. Give him an okay sign like you like his outfit. And then when you go behind the microphone, that whole room goes behind the microphone with you, and you got him before you said a word. I never walked to a mic since.
That is such showbiz right there.
And it's weird not to walk to a mic. To walk in front of the mic.
Oh, it's breaking all the rules.
But in some clubs, they're like right there, and like your package is in some real estate agent's face. Some guy, Quinn from Long Island, is like, this is not what I signed up for.
Does he know that you took that with you? That advice?
Oh, yeah, because we did it right away. We started right away, me and Jeff. And
so when you walk on stage, Jay, you will go to a corner. You'll shake a hand, look someone's shoe, you'll say something.
I walk in front of the mic. I'll shake hands in the front row. I'll walk over to the other side of the stage. If there's a balcony, I'll because you can't see unless you put your hand over your eyes, and I'll give them a salute and I'll point, and then I'll point down to the people in the front. I'll be like, "There's people." Like you don't say anything because there's music playing and they're clapping, but I'll be like, "Look, there's people up there, man."
Right.
And then those people are looking at those people, and you make like this weird little connection.
And it
with
breaks
everybody.
the wall immediately, huh? And then you're in.
So yeah, I would do all my roles again because my wife, Bob Sugar, is going back specifically to what you said, and I said to my wife, I don't think Bob Sugar I could do anything different, but all the other parts I would just simply do them less, and I wouldn't choose scenery, maybe not to your eye or someone else's eye, but there's things I could do like Suicide King's a lot of scenery chewing that I know went down.
But isn't that what we love about you though? I mean,
nobody likes somebody chewing the scenery.
Actors don't. Viewers do. You know, viewers want to see Jay. I mean, that's one thing, and I've learned how precious that was, too, because Kari Wurr even told me I was chewing some scenery.
Kleptomaniac. She's an actual kleptomaniac.
I didn't know this. Good, I got something on her now.
Jerry O'Connell told me when they were on the set of the sci-fi show that he did, every day the prop guy would be like, where's the popcorn machine? Like weird shit.
You've got to be kidding.
No.
Where's the pencil sharpener?
Literally like little stuff. It's like that Chris Rock joke. Goes, ever get somebody that steals from you, but they only steal little shit?
Right.
And you're like, where's my Scotch tape at? Like they didn't even steal money. It's like, you're just looking for an envelope. Like the guy balanced it. But he said Kari Wurr would steal like a pencil sharpener, like a little one, like the ones you use in school.
Totally.
Like the size of a quarter.
Yeah.
And then the next day, the prop guy would be like, where's my popcorn machine? Like she put it in the back of her Prius and she was out of there. So a kleptomaniac told you to dial it back a little bit.
Well, it's getting back to that, like, actors are precious about, because it means you're being upstaged or something. That's what no one else is thinking that way.
What did you work with her on?
Sharknado.
Oh, I didn't know she was in it. And by the way, allegedly, Jerry O'Connell said that allegedly, Kari Wurr was a kleptomaniac, but she is.
And she's still hot.
She's still your heart.
Not allegedly. She's a beautiful chick and still lovely.
Yeah,
and
if you like girls.
What are you going to do?
Two happily married guys.
Yeah, blow three guys and you're gay all of a sudden, right, Jay?
Yeah, right. I mean, what's the problem? I needed the role.
Oh, I know. I need to ride home. Come on.
I think we're in the minority. Two happily married guys that can work with somebody like Kari Warren and just come and be like, whatever.
Well, your wife's so hot. I mean, I'm happy with.
Would you marry a mutt? Come on.
Well, no, but I'm saying though, I think we're happy with what we. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't wish for anything, and I'm actually, and you are too, because I've seen your relationship with your wife. If you're not best friends with your wife, and I know that sounds really stupid, good luck.
Yeah.
A hot chick, a Donald Sterling, V. Stiviano on your arms, man, that's good for a night. You know what I'm saying? But to have a prolonged relationship, I've been with my wife 20 years, and I fucked it all up. Like I said.
Yeah.
And we messed it up
Watch
early.
this. Cunt.
It just feels right, doesn't it? Cunt. Ah, baby, it feels good.
Didn't feel good, but
it feels weird. It got weird. But I've been with her 20 years, but I've also been in the band for a long time. And I didn't move to LA in 94 when I signed a record deal to find a girl. I moved here a month later. I found my wife, so we've tested the waters and done really bad things to each other, but she's my best friend. It's been cultivated, it's been earned. And if you don't have that, it doesn't survive. And I've seen that with your wife. You know what I mean? Who are you going to call first about bad news, good news, anything?
Yeah, and it goes both ways too. Like, you got to realize we'll go back to the acting thing in a second. You got to realize too that you are your wife's best friend too, because there's times.
Good point.
My wife and I were having a conversation about something that was going on my end of the fence that I didn't want to talk about at all, and it was bothering my wife because I'm her husband and I'm her soulmate and this and this.
Sure.
And I kept saying I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And then my beautiful sweet wife goes, "You're my best friend. If I don't talk to you about this, I just hold it." And I went, "You know what?" And I looked her right in the eye. I said, "I am sorry. I'm going to take the husband hat off. I will put the best friend hat on. Let's get after it." And if you got to sit there till 4 a.m. and hash it out, that's how you succeed going forward. And you're not guys out there like hand in your man card and whatever. Like, you got to get to bed.
Great.
Like, bro, there's nothing more important than having somebody next to you for the rest of your life that you're going to be buried next to in some cemetery that nobody will ever visit. Than just listening to one another.
It's so true.
And you were smart. For the listeners, need to know this. Mark McGrath comes to L.A. He's in the band Sugar Ray from Hartford, Connecticut. He's in the band Sugar Ray with a bunch of his buddies. And look, I said this right when you left the studio on Jay Mohr Sports, the radio show. Look, you get in a band and you start comedy because you want the chicks, you want the chicks, you want the chicks, you want the chicks. Then you meet the chick, and then it's, where's my money, where's my money, where's my money?
That is true.
That is the exact summation. And anybody like Tom York from Radiohead and all the, like, we didn't get into it to be famous, and all the fucking Wilcos, kiss my dick.
Bullshit.
You're out of your mind. You got into it to get pussy, and then you want to know where your next check is. Have fun at the Will Turn, having sex with some hipster 6, you weirdo, with her handlebar mustache and her ironic My Little Pony t-shirt, you dick. Because I found my wife, and she's in Free City Sweats, and we're watching Law and Order reruns, and we could not be happier.
God bless, man.
Sam Waterston is in that episode, Your Honor.
That's so well said.
So, my wife, real quick, we were talking about Jerry Maguire. I said, I don't know what I would do differently with Bob Sugar. And she said, I know what you do. You could have done something so small to let the viewer know how completely sad he is.
And what's that?
And I go, like, exactly what I said. You're playing the part of me, apparently.
Thank you.
Great. And she goes, when you fire Tom Cruise and you are like staring him straight down, you're looking down at him and like, you want it smaller? Hey man, blah, blah, blah. And you came here to fire you, Jerry, blah, blah, blah. And then when he walks out the door, like just something where your face falls barely, where the viewer knows, and not like something overt, but just something like you or like another actor would go like, oh, this guy fucking hates his life. Like,
but what is that move? Like, your face falls. What? I mean, how do you articulate that?
I'd have to be up on my feet, and I'd have to do it and have a couple whacks at it, a couple.
You get whimsical on your face. What is like?
Nah, that's too big. That's what I'm saying. I want everything smaller.
Oh boy, that's getting really minute, man. That's nitpicking.
Minute Bowl.
Yeah, Minute Ball. I got blocked by him once in a Celebrity All-Star game. And it was an honor.
If you didn't.
And it was an honor.
He should have just rolled over and died earlier than he did.
Yeah, poor guy.
Didn't he win the fucking lottery? He won the lottery.
He won the lottery, but then he lost all the money immediately.
They
Sent
all
it back
do.
to, like, I never saw it again or something.
They all do.
Yeah, the poor guys.
But, like,
go ahead. No. I want to specifically getting back to that face thing, because I thought that was an incredible scene. What do you mean? Is it a look in the eye, Jay? Is it like a head move? Like, what? How does your face Fall.
I'll do it for you right now, but nobody in the podcast will be able to see it.
Okay. Didn't you do that?
No.
You did
see
the
how
first
small-
part.
see how small
Yeah,
it
it
was?
really. I waited. I talked over it. I waited till the end.
Too super tiny.
Yeah.
And then you cut right as it's happening. But here's the thing. When I did, and then I want you to do most of the talking, underthesuntour.com, if you want to see Sugar Ray, Uncle Cracker, Gin Blossoms, Spin Doctors, and holy smokes, Dr. John Popper.
Blues Traveler. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a good show.
Probably the band you want to follow least.
Yeah, they're a great band. You probably see them in some of your Black Crowes excursions. They did a lot of Horde stuff in the 90s.
I never saw the Crows at a festival. I always saw the only time I saw the Black Crows with someone huge was the Brothers Keeper tour. It was Space Hog opened. Nobody really knew who they were, but I dug it a lot. Yeah. It's the only song everybody knows. And then it was Oasis and the Black Crows.
That's a great show.
It was a great show, and
that was the brother. Yeah, the brothers.
Brotherly Love, and
it wasn't a lot of brotherly love in that tour.
Yeah, and it was one of those shows, and you'll understand this, where I timed my drugs perfectly. It's one of those things like during Oasis.
What are you taking?
I'm a little
little coke, little booze, little pot.
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Oh, come on!
But it's one of those things where
fun. If you're timing drugs, that's a different thing.
It was one of those things where, like, during Oasis, I'm a little itchy and maybe a little short of breath. Like, can I breathe? Maybe I should have brought an inhaler.
I'm with you.
This is a little weird, and I'm a little itchy.
Right.
And I'm looking around like, who the fuck is this guy over here? And then Black Crows come in, and I lose my mind. And right at my morning song, which was like track 3, it was game on.
Just out of here.
It was just riding the river.
Now, Oasis opened for Black Crows, huh?
I think they flip-flopped.
Each other show, every other show. But the show you saw, Oasis was Oasis great? Because I love Oasis.
It was impressive to watch, and I like Oasis. I don't love Oasis, but I remember, this will let you know one of the drugs I was on. I went to use the restroom during one of the breaks, and there's like 6 kids. By kids, I mean like 20 years old.
Right.
And they got the haircut, the thing, and the deal. And they're like, hey, Bob Sugar. They go, are you here to see Oasis? And they had Oasis gear on, and they said, are you here to see Oasis or the Black Crows? And I almost fist fought them.
Why was that insulting to you?
Because it's
I called you Bob Sugar?
Because I was fucking high.
I know, but hey, bro, you here to see Oasis?
A little agitated, a little grinding of the teeth. Here's
were punches thrown?
No, I said that's the dumbest fucking question I've ever heard, bro. Gotcha. And I went to the bathroom and I peed, and it took a very long time for my pee to come out.
I understand that.
Another clue.
Yeah, I understand that one.
I think I was drinking NyQuil a lot then too. So you stand at the urinal, and about 4 minutes later, pee trickles out. It's got a green tint.
Why do I not miss those days?
I don't miss them at all.
The older I get, I did it all. Now at this age, like I don't want to go out. I don't want to drink. You know what I mean? It's really stressful. What do I do with my family? It's really weird. I think that's age. You can't have that at 30.
And you're not like in a program.
No, I'm not in a program. I just backed off, and I'll have a shot of Jameson every now and then.
See, I'm full up. Like I'm in a program. Because if I go one, game over.
I can't even go one though. If you do one, I'm done now. Like I got to the point where my body just goes, you can have one.
But you have the gift of moderation.
I couldn't do another one though, Jay.
Oh.
I'm not going. I'm having one, and I'll shut it down. I just cannot drink another one. My stomach starts burning, and I want to go to sleep immediately. It has a reverse effect of the party of the 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
When it's like, let's drink, let's stay up all night, let's party. I mean, I have a drink, and I want to go sleep and lie down and call it a night, and I'm hungover the next day with one drink. So it's almost like, why do I even have one?
I don't miss any of the boozing or drugs or anything whatsoever, and I really don't.
No,
however, I do see like parents with a cocktail at a party with screaming kids running around, and I'm like, and I wrote a book about it, and the title of the book is No Wonder My Parents Drank.
Yeah.
And this would be so much easier if I was a guy that could have like 3 like whiskeys in my house and just like get a little buzz on, and like I would be the Lego man. And now instead I'm like, I'm checking fantasy baseball scores on the computer, and I'm going, just go play in your play. You have an entire playroom. Why am I so interesting? Go play. But if I had a couple pops in me, I'd be like, let's make the Lego town, my man.
Totally. And the noise is less, the distortion's less. I'm with you on that.
I want to answer your question about acting real quick, because we were talking about our wives without making the listener that hasn't found their soulmate sick to their stomachs, but it's very important because my wife knows more about acting than anybody, and I swear to God. When I did Hereafter, with Clint Eastwood, I was fucking panic stricken. We're up in San Francisco, we're shooting, and they say you only get one take, and I'm playing Matt Damon's brother. Matt Damon is a guy that can talk to a medium. He talks to dead people and he can tell people's futures and shit.
Sure.
And my character, all I want to do is get him to go back into business so that I can make money and he can make money. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is another Bob Sugar. It's a snake in the grass. It's a snake in the grass. And it was like 1 a.m. I have a 5 a.m. call, and I'm sitting. It was like crazy. Only Clint Eastwood put you up in like an apartment for 4 days, and it's stocked. It's fully stocked. Okay. And I'm sitting in the island in the kitchen. I'm just going over the script, and I'm maniacally going over my lines. And my wife's never seen me act this way before. She goes, "What's going on?" And I finally looked at her. She goes, "I'm so nervous." And she goes, "Why didn't you tell me that 2 weeks ago?"
Yeah.
1, 2, what are you nervous about? And I told her, this guy's going to be unlikable. He's going to be this. And she goes, he doesn't have to be unlikable because he's pathetic. And I go on. She goes, the number one thing, if he's your brother, why don't you make it so the viewer knows you absolutely love your brother more than you love anyone else in the world. So even if you do want to make money on this, it's because it's a business opportunity that's on the table and not to exploit your brother. And then I started thinking like Eric Roberts and Mickey Rourke and Pope of Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
There is no reason Mickey Rourke ever should have put up with that shit at all.
Right.
But he loved him so much. And Worm in Rounders. There's no reason Matt Damon should have put up with Worm, Ed Norton in Rounders, but he loved them so much.
And it's never said in words.
No, it's all in the performance.
Yeah.
So then I go back and I start reading the dialogue and in my mind, like I am in love with my brother. Like this is my guy. And she said, when you go to wardrobe, make sure everything's a little too big. And I go, why? She goes, because it's like if you're wearing a suit, but it's a little too big, you obviously got it on a discount, like at Marshall's off the rack, and it makes you more pathetic. Never reference it. It'll just be there.
Smart.
And make them make your hair go almost completely straight up in the air because you styled your hair and you look tight, but to everybody else, you look like an idiot. But you obviously sprayed your hair and you look nice. And then that was the performance that came in, which I'm very proud of it.
And she picked all those sound like huge hints.
4 minutes.
It's like cracking the code of an impression, isn't it?
Exactly. And it was 4 minutes total, the conversation. And
I know she's a great actress. That's ridiculous.
She's going to get back into it soon.
What about you in acting? I know you got the radio thing kind of tethering you down a little bit.
Well, radio money is not acting money.
No, I understand.
I have an acting house.
No, I understand
that acting mortgage is...
I've seen your beautiful house, my brother.
My back.
There's a reason why I couldn't live on the Palisades side. I'm out here in Studio City.
But when you sold 10 million records. Is it because of that first record deal that you guys didn't get like a fair split?
No. It just is institutionally, all record deals are bad. You know what I mean? You get 14 cents on the dollar for the band. That's just the way. That's the
14 cents
on the dollar. That was the system in place. And that's how it was because they had to pay for every band that failed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so they had a lot of overhead and all that. But that was just the institutional.
Hey, it was 14 cents. They add up, Mark.
Well, you sell. It's like Victor Brick.
They add up. 14 cents. They add up.
But I've been very blessed. I got more money than I deserve. I don't have a big, healthy appetite. You know, I like a watch every now and then. That's it. You know, so I've been able to save money and it's been smart with it. You know, I looked at your house. It's beautiful. I wanted to live over there. I love that whole lifestyle. Everything
West
you're doing over
side.
there is awesome. But I'm a Studio City guy. My house looks
kids.
like yours. It's just over here.
Yeah.
10 degrees warmer out here.
And you have twins that are 4.
I have twins that are 4,
a boy and a girl.
Boy and a girl.
Twins.
Yep,
and that's
Catholic
the best
school.
way because real twins kind of creep me out.
Yeah, you know, IVF style. I went IVF route.
I think we're going to have to do that too because I got like 6 sperm and they're bumping into each other.
Yeah, I've got 1 left.
1 sperm left?
Oh, one in the refrigerator over there in downtown.
1 vial of
one
the
vial
whole
left.
thing. You want another kid?
3. I'm outnumbered.
You're in zone coverage.
That's what everybody tells me. I have parents that have 3 kids that look at me and their eyes are glazed over and they're like, "Don't do it." The husbands are like, "Don't do it, don't do it." I mean, like seriously, like broing me out, going, "Don't do it."
I have an 11-year-old and I have a 3-year-old.
That might be good spacing.
It's the worst because you can do nothing with them at the same time. Like
but the 11-year-old can help, though.
Oh, no. 11-year-old. Oh, are you out of your mind?
Am I wrong?
How old's your oldest?
Oh, they're both 4. My kids are both 4.
I thought you had a third.
No. That's what I'm saying. I won't do 3.
11 and 10 years old, that is the exact age where you can help with nothing. Like, you can't carry your own gym bag, a gallon of milk from the... It's like, it's too heavy, huh? Like, could you close that door for me? And they fucking slam the front door of the house, and a lamp knocks over, and you're like... And you want to go like, what the fuck's the matter with you? And they're like, you told me to close the door. But then they can't figure out the door. The seatbelt in their cars, like, it's a goddamn Rubik's Cube every day because they're still wearing their backpack from school. They don't know to take it off. There's a lot going on in a 10-year-old's head, an 11-year-old's head. You go to shoot baskets, and you got a goddamn stroller. When he was 10, the kid's 2, he's in a stroller. So I'm down in the paint. I'm rebounding with a stroller. And then eventually I just said, fuck it, use it as a pick. So the kids are playing 4-on-4 with a stroller, like, in the blocks, and kids are just running around. But my 3-year-old's like a tank. So kids are just knocking them over. They don't give a shit.
Right.
But I want twins. I want to do it again. And we'll probably have to go the IVF route because I have very bad swimmers. But I want twins bad because that's God's way of saying, you're done.
Yeah.
Like God
no, it is.
laughs.
It's tough, dude. And
one baby goes down, the other one wakes up. The other one wakes up. You put the other one down. One
got to be on a
vomits.
schedule. Got to be on a schedule. That's the key. If you're not on a schedule, and they're still on a schedule to this day, you'll never sleep again if you're not on a schedule. I would warn you that twins, after having singletons, as we call them when you're a parent of twins, people with
Wait, what? Huh? What?
You have singletons. You have kids that aren't twins.
Oh, okay.
We call them singletons in our little parents of twins world.
I don't really think anybody other than you and the 4 people you hang out with say that.
Good point. They really don't. I know.
Singletons.
Yeah, it's just fun, John. What was a singleton?
I didn't mean you hang out only with 4 people.
I do,
listener.
though.
I mean the 4 people that you had that conversation.
Right. If you have twins now, Jay, it'll be gnarly for you guys, man.
Yeah, but then you're done.
Yeah, you are done.
Then when they're 5,
no, you are. You really
But
are.
then when you're 5 years old, you don't have to go like, man, maybe we should have another. It's like, no, look at the twins, look at the mess, look at the rubble behind you.
I've said my piece. You can do what you want to do, dude. Twins are a whole new reality, a whole new ball game. And the older I get, I was 42 when I had my kids. It's tough.
I was older than you. I'm 40.
When you had your first kid?
No,
that's what I'm saying.
My 3-year-old, I'm 44 now, so I'll be like 60 at his graduation. So, like,
what about me?
My wife's 35.
Yeah.
And she's like, let's wait till he's in first grade so he can be the only child for a while. I'm like, I'm an old dad. I'm going to be wearing a bag on my hip at this kid's graduation. I'll be like, I missed it. I was emptying my piss.
The Tony Randall dad? Tony Randall had a baby at 77.
That's a man.
Come on, dude. That's insane.
And everybody thought he was gay.
Who knew?
Didn't you?
Of course. You kidding me?
Like, what am I, stupid?
Yeah, I know.
When I was having sex with him, he was real gay. This is what I want to know about compilations and soundtracks. When you, by the way, it's fununderthesuntour.com, and man, what
Under the Sun Tour, yeah.
What did I say?
You said fun under the sun. That's what you're going to have.
Yeah, but it's under the
Sun
tour.com.
Or you hit me up at Mark_McGrath, Twitter. I'm happy to answer any questions.
And this is a big tour. These are a lot of dates.
There's a lot of dates. It's about a 6-weeker. And what's great is they're playing the big venues. They got the big room again, Jay. We're playing Red Rocks on July 4th with Blues Traveler, which is an annual festival for them. They do that anyway on their own.
You got to let them close Red Rocks.
Oh, they're going to close a lot of shows.
Yeah.
They're going to close a majority of them. And us and Cracker and Smash Mouth will kind of change.
Spin Doctors closing no shows.
They're on a couple shows. They're not all of them, but they probably won't be closing the ones they're on. But Spin Doctors are a 2 band, dude. You know what I mean? You were singing Two Princes with everybody else back in the day.
Yeah, but nothing changes in Two Princes. Dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. 2 minutes later, dun, dun. Like there's no bridge. Nothing.
I dare you to write an easy hit song, Jay. I dare you to. I mean, I hear people.
You're asking the wrong guy.
But my point is, people always go, like, your songs went from A chord to D chord and back. I go, I dare you to write an easy hit song. If everybody could do it, we'd all be doing it because it's a nice payoff and it's a lot of fun.
Why don't you and I write one together?
Let's write one. I'd love to.
Let's cut the rest of the Sugar Ray band members out.
Let's do it.
And let's get something on airplay.
I'm into it.
Talking about Lousy Sperm and Singletons.
Have you ever written a song? We were kind of hitting on your radio show. Have you ever in a band, Jay?
No.
Never even messed around. Never grabbed the mic and sang?
7th grade talent show. I did Romantics.
Talking in your sleep.
Lead singer, yeah.
Remember the video of that? He had like a hair lip, the singer?
Yeah. And the drummer was the guy that really could pound it out.
And he sang What I Like About You.
Yeah, which became like a fucking Arby's commercial.
It's an anthem.
Which I have no problem with.
It's Louie Louie. It's huge. That was the Louie Louie of the 80s.
I got no problem with anybody selling out whatsoever. My whole thing is,
what's selling out? Selling stuff? I mean, you know.
I think people like they sold out, man. It's like, look, the whole point of this game is to make more money. The older you get, increase revenue and just keep it flowing and flowing and flowing. And if you think like somebody sold out, like Bob Dylan did a commercial during the Super Bowl, no one's buying his fucking albums anymore.
That's right.
And which is a shame because out like Time Out of Mind is his best album, and he did it when he was damn near 70.
Great stuff.
My whole thing is like, let's all sell out together. Just like, look, I have a problem with like Pearl Jam because Pearl Jam wants, like, they have a show at the Sports Arena, and Eddie Vedder goes, the reason we're at Sports Arena is because if you look around, there's absolutely no advertising anywhere. And I'm like, that's why you're here, because there's no ad. I spent $900 to sit all the way up top with pets.
Yeah, thank you. And guess where that $900 went? Into Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder's got $100 million, people. Started to break the bubble of fantasy.
And that frick has a ukulele album for sale at Starbucks, and I got to take it in the shitter for my fucking. I got to keep it real. And he can go to fucking sell his albums at Walmart.
Is there anything lamer than trying to be punk rock after 40? No. I'm so punk, and I'm like, really, dude, you're nobody's cool after 40. Relax and just enjoy it. And like, at least Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam, you got to give it to them. They relaxed a lot. That's so good. You're the best impressions. They relaxed a lot in that whole sort of like, that philosophy of like, Ticketmaster and all that bullshit. They've become a band now, which is the one thing they do great. Yeah. They're a great band. And now they're just a band, which is great. They relax. I mean, if you want to go away, you can go away. Just go away. People will forget about you.
Yeah.
But Eddie Vedder, don't kid yourself. He wanted to sell 100 million records and be a rock star just like everybody else when he was surfing in Frisco. I'm in San Diego.
I enjoy Starbucks coffee. Dick Cheney is the world's biggest asshole. No, you didn't play Jeremy yet. You're the world's biggest asshole. When Dick Cheney's in Montana running around a ranch with a baboon heart, throwing his own shit at the walls, you know what he's not thinking about? Pearl Jam. Why is Dick Cheney on your radar in the middle of a fucking concert, asshole? Dick Cheney? That's actually what he said in the Sports Arena 3 years ago. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Dick Cheney's the world's biggest asshole. And everyone's like, yeah. And I'm like, boo.
Did you go backstage? You go backstage if you see Pearl Jam? Like, you have a relationship with those guys?
I didn't have that kind of juice. I've been backstage a couple times at a bunch of shows. Al Green was a big one.
Al Green?
At the Blues Festival.
At the House Blues, like Sunday brunch?
No, it was Long Beach Blues Festival. And then at the Grammys, I went and met him again.
He's amazing.
And he said something that kind of broke my heart.
What did he say?
Congratulations on your Grammy, man. He goes, I like the way it smells. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, smells like money. I'm like, oh, you're the Reverend.
The Reverend? I know.
Oh, pass the basket. Speaking of money.
Is Bruce Springsteen your favorite? Who was your favorite? We talked about this.
Ever of all time?
Oh, ever. And like, don't give me
it's the Beatles.
The Beatles.
It's not even close.
Good.
That's like,
great choice.
It's the Michael Jordan discussion. Like, it's Michael Jordan, then you got to start listing players.
Isn't it funny when people try and put the Stones in that conversation?
Yeah,
the Beatles won. Yeah, that's it.
It's game over.
There's never going to be another rock star again. There's no more rock bands.
You've let me know you're less intelligent than I thought you were when you go, what do you like more, Beatles or Stones? It should be Who or Stones or something like that.
Oh, man, you're throwing the Kinks there, too. I'm with you. Now, Zeppelin, you can let them...
Zeppelin, I love.
Yeah, you can let them, filter into that conversation. But the Stones, they're doing it so long. I'm like, longevity is not necessarily quantity, quality.
Zeppelin, I go into like Zeppelin rabbit holes. I'll do 4 days where I got like my iPad hooked up to my truck and I just go.
Because it's scary. When you listen to Zeppelin, like scary things, it's like, you know what I mean? You're going to another world with Zeppelin. The imagery, the lyricism, the songs.
Hammer of the God.
But you know what I'm saying? Don't you feel weird?
Of the ice and snow.
Yeah, it is like mystical.
You're going in some it's a dark place. Yeah. You're not just putting on the Beach Boys. You're putting on Zapp, dude.
You ever hear the original When the Levee Breaks, the old blues one?
It's note for note the same.
No. But then I'll close this show with the original When the Levee Breaks.
Okay.
And you will. It's astounding that they took that and translated it into that. But speaking of money,
there's a lot of songs though that they kind of.
Oh yeah, all the Led Zeppelin 1, all those B-sides.
Note for note,
yeah. Well, they had to, and so did the Stones with "I'm a King Bee" and all that.
Guess
stuff.
what? Everybody, but also everybody. There's 12 notes.
Hide your influences. Speaking of money, we got to give love to the sponsors, and I'm going to ask Mark McGrath specifically about soundtracks. I want to know what. Don't answer. I want to know why, and I want to know how much money you get, and what's the point of doing a song for a soundtrack. And sometimes big bands completely shoot their load on a soundtrack, and you're like, that would have been your smash hit single. You blew it on the Beavis and Butthead soundtrack, Nirvana.
You blew it.
Here's love from our sponsors. Be right back with Mark McGrath. You want to do whatever it takes to make sure your business runs efficiently, but constant trips to the post office can definitely get in the way. It eats up valuable time that you could be spending on growing your business instead. So bring the post office right to your desk with Stamps.com. You don't have to be a postal expert. Stamps.com makes it easy for you. Buy and print official U.S. postage for any letter, any package, using what you already have, your computer, your printer. Then just hand it to your mailman. It's that easy. Join the 500,000 small businesses that use Stamps.com and never go to the post office again. I use Stamps.com. I want you to use Stamps.com. Right now, use my last name, Mohr, M-O-H-R, for this special offer. It's a no-risk trial, plus a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 of free postage. That's a lot of letters, man. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com before you do anything else. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in Mohr, M-O-H-R. That's Stamps.com. Enter Mohr. Biddy-biddy-biddy-bidop, boobity-deep-bop.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Jason Ray noticed a blue birthmark had appeared on his forehead in the shape of the Geico gecko. Jason felt compelled to switch his car insurance to Geico and save hundreds of dollars with great discounts. By nightfall, the birthmark had disappeared. Jason's wife, Jeannie, thinks it was probably just blueberry jam from breakfast. Jason prefers to believe otherwise.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Mark McGrath, you do a lot of soundtracks.
We have.
All right,
That
American
business
Pie
kinda
soundtrack,
died.
huh?
That business is kind of dead.
The soundtrack
The
business?
soundtrack business, yeah.
That's probably because of the digital download. Nobody wants to download a
done.
soundtrack.
What they'll do now is they'll hire like T-Bone Burnett to like score the whole soundtrack.
RZA.
Yeah, or RZA.
He's awesome.
He's great. He's really talented. Gone are the days where they have, all right, we have Sabrina the Teenage Witch, okay? It's a TV show, and we're going to make a soundtrack to it because that sold back then. And we've got $3 million to make a record. All right, so they go out to the artists they want. We were hot at the time back then, and they reached out to Sabrina the Teenage Witch people, and we covered Abracadabra by Steve Miller. Get it?
Oh,
Sabrina Teenage Witch, Abracadabra.
The worst Steve Miller song ever.
And we made it worse, too, believe me. And
I heat up.
I can't cool down. The situation goes
round and round.
Black panties with a
I don't know.
Angel's face.
You know what? I think Steve Miller, I've said this before, one of the most underrated people in rock and roll.
Now, when you're scrolling through TV and you go by the Palladia, I'm going to add on to that. When you go by Palladia or Access Channel, every now and then you'll see Steve Miller live in concert. I dare you not to watch that if you stumble upon Steve Miller live.
Yeah.
The catalog of hits, the voice still in full effect, and still singing the keys as he did as a youngster.
Yeah, everybody else keys it down.
Not much. Not much.
No, everybody else.
Oh, everybody else is
like you go see Jane's Addiction. It's like coming down the mountain.
Dude,
they got old.
It's a little. And Perry, great voice, but he's singing really high. So you get older, and it's just 50. Natural. Yeah, your voice goes away. He still looks great, too, by the way. And Steve Miller still sings in the same keys. One of the best blues guitar players you'll ever hear in your life.
Yeah.
And he's a great guitar player. Very underrated as a guitar player. So my point, what you're saying, incredibly underrated musician, and still sells out, amphitheaters and sheds.
Steve Miller, here's something that
and $100,000 to your answer. How much they pay you to like maybe cover a song?
They pay you $100,000
back in '98 too. So
to be on a
yes,
soundtrack?
please, I'll do that.
To be on a soundtrack.
You were asking why you would do that. That's why. And like we would never give them. What you do is when you'd record an album and you'd have a couple B-sides or things that didn't make the record, and you'd throw them one of those, and they'd make the soundtrack.
You
give them filler.
Yeah, but $100,000.
$100,000. '98 too, by the way. We were, by the way, we were at the top of the charts, hot band, just coming off #1 song.
So American Pie soundtrack, American Dad soundtrack, Cheaper by the Dozen soundtrack. Already we're at $300,000.
But some varied,
Herbie Fully Loaded, Coyote Ugly, Scary Movie 2, Max Keeble's Big Movie, Stealing Harvard, Scream, Escape from L.A., Surf's Up, Buzz Cuts Volume 2, Clock Stoppers. What's NASCAR Full Throttle? Is that a video game?
It was like a video game type.
That's not $100,000.
No, those are all varying. You know what I mean? Some were more, some were less. But there was a lot of money to be made in the soundtracks. That's why we all did it. You're not going to see very many anymore. They don't.
You
do
said
it.
B-side, and when I listen to like like the Beavis and Butthead soundtrack.
Yeah.
I Hate Myself and I Want to Die by Nirvana. I'm like, this would have been one of their biggest hits.
Right. Well, you just said Nirvana. I'm talking about Sugar Ray. We didn't write a lot of hits. You know what I'm saying? We weren't that important on the radar. I remember when I went to Extra back in 2004. They're like, why you're in Sugar Ray? Why are you hosting Extra? I go, because I was in Sugar Ray. This wasn't Nirvana or Pearl Jam or, you know what I'm saying, dude? I'm out there hustling and trying to make, and our window kind of came and went, if you didn't notice. You know?
And here's the thing with Extra is you guys have to give me a check every Thursday.
Oh, that was great.
And I don't have to get on an airplane to go pick it up.
And deal with other people and blah, blah, blah. And I had an office for the first time. It was
How long
phenomenal.
did you do?
I was Extra for 4 years.
And why did you leave?
They kind of was showed that my contract ended, okay, and they said, listen, we want you to do more stuff. We want you to go on like, you know, CNN when something breaks. And I was basically just the host. I'd show up, I'd do an interview every now and then, I'd do all the award shows. They wanted me to like work more and do all this stuff, and I just kind of said, you know what, I'm just going to kind of go back to the band and do my thing, you know, and that's why I left. And you know, Mario Lopez was kind of coming up. I kind of saw the writing was on the wall, and they were making changes, you know. So I knew I could have stayed another year, but it would have been another year. You know what I mean? I saw the writing on the wall. I didn't have the passion for it. I didn't love it, but the money was great. I made more money in those 4 years than I made in my entire music career.
You almost did a sitcom or a TV show, according to your Wikipedia page.
What does it say?
Jeez Louise.
Oh, Charmed. Yeah, Charmed. I was signed up.
Going to be on Charmed.
Was going to be on Charmed, yeah. And
Alyssa
then
Milano, Rose McGowan, and the other one.
Yeah, and that was the same time I was doing Extra and the double duty.
Nobody knows her name.
The other one.
Charisma Carpenter. Thank you.
Charisma Carpenter.
Why do I know that?
Yeah, I was going to do that. It
was Shannon Doherty Charmed or Rose McGowan Charmed?
I think they were. It was Rose McGowan Charmed. Shannon already left. Yeah, yeah. And so it was. It was towards the end of that. And and I was working at Extra at the time. I said, I don't want to do two things. I'm lazy. I'm not a multitasker.
Bro, they were going to give you TV money.
I know, I blew it.
Not daytime TV money.
But I was already getting my TV money, you know, so I said, forget it. Where are you at with acting? I know.
Hold on.
I want to go back to that. Your listeners want to know.
The part of Dex Lawson. It's not like you had to audition and jump through hoops.
Yeah, no, I got it. It was amazing.
You were replaced by Jason Lewis.
Yeah, the dude from Sex and the City who, yeah. So he's the supermodel Jason Lewis, Calvin Klein guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they made the right choice on that one. I wasn't taking my shirt off.
Why not?
Beer belly, baby. Come on.
You have a beer belly.
I got it. I got like a 4-pack of coolers and a little roll.
Put your stomach on my my chin and lips right now. Just put it on my chin and lips. Put your entire stomach on my chin and lips.
Put it right here.
What are you asking me about acting for?
Because,
you're the guest on my podcast.
You're an excellent actor, and it's something that I don't want you to deny your fans, including myself, of more acting from Jay Mohr. Is there something in line? Are you auditioning still?
Producing, my wife and I. Well, my wife created a show, and I just went, "Great, we'll do it."
What show?
Do I? No, I'll tell you off the. It's a reality show that's really cool. Really cool.
Can't you say a network, huh?
Well, you got to go out and pitch it first. But it's a layup. It's
the old pitch
incredible.
You do.
It's amazing.
Have you been in line for an iconic role, Jay, that like we know now that you almost got but didn't get?
Nothing iconic, but I remember I put my foot down. The movie Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence and Luke Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I auditioned twice, and they go, all right, it's as good as done. You're all set, and you're ready to go. And they go, but we need you to audition one last time. And I go, okay, I'm in L.A., audition one last time. And then I fly to New York to do Caroline's Comedy Club, right? Mm-hmm. I'm in my apartment in New York. I get a call from my agent and my manager, and they go, they want you to fly to L.A. tomorrow for a chemistry read with Martin Lawrence, just one last time. And I go, this is the old me. Man, fuck that. They told me it was the last time I would have to, like, that's where I put my foot down.
Right.
And my agent goes, you realize that you may lose the gig because of this. And I go, fine. I mean, they lied to me. I mean, they should be people of their words.
Oh, man.
You know, show business. Like, I think they're really.
How many chemistry tests had you done with Martin at that point?
None, never met him.
So that adds even more to it, by the way.
Met him at Saturday Night Live. And
but you hadn't done a chemistry test with him.
No, my thing was for two comics.
I don't know, wouldn't that have been the slam dunk, though, Jay? You thought you got it like that? I thought you'd already done 3 with him.
Ego.
I got you.
Ego.
I'm with you.
And my manager goes, let me ask you, Barry Katz, the famous, let me ask you a question. If this movie goes on to make $100 million, are you going to look back and regret? And I go, no. Guess what? $140 million. Wow. I regret it.
What a drag, man.
Because I don't regret it because I missed out on the opportunity in the. But I regret it that I acted like a dick, and I can't. There's probably a dozen times I acted that way, and I wasn't realize I was acting that way where it cost me things.
Well, you probably regret it twofold, both ways. I mean, it would have been a big commercial success, you know.
I've auditioned for things that I just simply didn't get. What was the movie that just came out where they were all like 20s? Gangster Squad?
Oh, yeah.
Gangster Squad. That went to Giovanni Ribisi. I just did auditions. Just
what part?
Somebody else. Giovanni Ribisi. I don't know.
Oh, his part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like, there's things like that where it's not like it's between you got it, and then like they pull the rug up, and you're like,
right.
How did I miss out on that? I can't really think of any where I was like, I thought like, no, I was never wronged where they said I had it, and then
Except
they gave it to somebody else. But that was all I wronged me.
Right.
Yeah.
You've grown, man. Huh?
Well, I mean, if you don't grow, then what are you doing?
Must be nice to be at peace with yourself. Good for you.
You say that like you're not at peace with yourself.
I sort of am, but I think like it could be more.
Well, then just do it.
I've got the greatest stuff in the world, and I've been so fortunate and lucky. I get a great family. And
What's bothering you the most, Mark McGrath?
It's probably like long-term financial security. You know what I'm saying?
Do you put money away on a monthly basis?
I absolutely do.
And stop. Hold on.
Because I'm in an industry where like I can make Sugar Ray was 1/4 of my income last year. I got a couple TV gigs. I got some other things happening. I can't like the disparity between what I can earn and what I may earn is pretty radical and keeps me up at night. I imagine it's the same with you though. You know what I mean? If you got a TV gig or a movie gig, you know.
Yeah, but I got a radio gig and I got a 3-year contract, so I just put it out of my mind.
I don't have that stability, so I guess that's
it's radio money, Mark.
Yeah, but it's money, Jay. It's a check coming in, dude.
I went from Gary Unmarried to the AM dial.
I'm trying. Let me say, in 5 weeks of Gary Unmarried, I made my yearly salary on the radio.
Wow.
That's a big hit.
That's huge.
But I love doing the radio gig, and I pick my kid up at preschool every day at 12:30, and then he takes a nap, I take a nap, and then when he wakes up, we go and we goof off on the beach. So that's
can't get any wealthier than that.
Making it. And
what's the end game with radio?
The end game is to get it on TV at the same time, which for some reason,
how come that's hard
DirecTV
for you?
And Fox Sports 1 can't.
Artie Lang's got a show, who I love.
I think Artie's show is done.
It is done. I saw.
And then, but the thing is, like,
why can't you just sneak in there?
They want me to do it live. I've had discussions with DirecTV, and they want me to move to New York and do the show in. They want my radio show to be on that when Artie Lang was on TV.
Yeah,
they want the radio show on the East Coast to start at 9 o'clock at night. And I'm
That's
like,
a tough gig,
bro. I'm on at 9 in the morning in L.A. Yeah. It's my biggest market,
and I live in L.A.
And I live in L.A. And my kids in L.A. So if I'm going to move to New York, I could do the show out of New York easily, but it's got to stay noon to 3. So what I suggested to DirecTV was, why don't I just do my radio show and then you just put it on in that Artie time slot, and I can tell everybody all morning on the radio show, go watch it, and they go, but then it's not live. What if LeBron has 100 points? And I'm like, really?
But also, who wants to talk about sports at 9 at night? You've already banged the whole day out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a topical business.
To me, it's a layup, and it could get very frustrating. But going back to the beginning of the podcast, everything turns out the way it's going to turn out regardless. Yeah. So what am I going to do? And Fox Sports 1 is like the bane of my existence because it's the same company, and somehow fucking Regis Philbin gets in before I do.
Come on.
And we all know.
How many more hours does he need on TV?
Television,
Jesus.
We all know they want to get younger. Yeah, and I'll turn on Fox Sports 1. I'll go, oh, it's nice. Ephraim Salam is on TV before I am with his long list of movie credits and stuff like that.
Accomplishments.
And then Mike Francesa out of New York, he signed with Fox Sports 1 to do his show, which I never understood because he's in New York. Like, that's New York.
That's beyond New York.
So if you're in L.A. and Mike Francesa's on, it's an immediate turnoff. But it'll happen if it happens, or it won't.
What's in the mix? It's in the machinations of possibly happening.
I got a year left on my radio contract, and I'm very open to going back to doing a multi-camera sitcom and/or movies. But here's the thing, because my kid will be older is the thing.
Right.
But if I was on like Ghost Whisperer right now, I'd be in a trailer calling my wife going, okay, please have Teresa pick Mackie up at school.
Yeah.
I don't know. They told me 8 o'clock. It might be 9 because they had to move some things around. And when you're on a movie set, as you know, as star of Sharknado 2.
I want to brag.
It's like literally you sit in a trailer and some guy goes, hey, we could shoot this with a crane. And then you got to wait an hour and a half for a crane to go up. You got to get a guy in the crane that shits in a bucket because he's up there for 8 hours. It's unbelievable.
A lot of sit around and wait, that's for sure.
And there's no waiting in radio. I work 3 hours a day, 15 hours a week. No, I'm not including prep time, obviously, because I like to take pride in the fact that I work pretty hard on putting on a show. And I think that's what separates Jay Mohr Sports from every other show. Everybody starts with the same box score every morning.
Right.
So how do you separate yourself from the pack? Being a comic, I'm going to take those box scores. I'm going to take that news that happened the night before, those playoff scenarios, and I'm going to put on a show as opposed to do a show.
And you do it effortlessly, too. I mean, to watch you do it and how quick your mind works. I mean, it's a talent. You are right. You know, and not any comedian can just do it. You also have a wealth of knowledge about sports. I know that's obvious, but, you know, there's another comedian working that has that like you.
What sport would you guess that I know the least about?
You know the least about?
Yeah.
I'm going to say you know the least about...
not tennis and golf. That's stupid. I know nothing about those.
Okay, you were...
And soccer. Take
Fantasy
those three
baseball,
off.
I know you do. You seem to have hoops knowledge.
What kind of hoops knowledge?
You're a college fan, huh?
No. College basketball. Card-carrying idiot.
Yeah, me too.
I had to be brought up to speed very quickly this year.
God, you must, because, I imagine it's all people want to talk about.
Yeah,
come
and
February, March. Right?
And then with the Final Four and all that stuff going down, luckily it was like super exciting. And last week I had John Calipari, coach of Kentucky, on my show, and I saw him on Charlie Rose the night before. And the guy's obviously selling a book, and
Right.
he is a recruiter.
Right.
But what he said was so fucking amazing.
What did he say?
First of all, he's on Charlie Rose. We're diplomats. And you expect him to be like unctuous and Bob Sugar
Right.
and like, let me tell you something,
Exactly.
Charlie. And he like had reverence for the desk. And he said, I tell these kids all the time, because Charlie Rose asked him about the one and dones and kids going pro right after their first year at Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And John Calipari goes, look, I tell these kids all the time, money has wings. Money's got a great set of wings. And if you chase money, it's going to keep flying. But I guarantee you this, if you chase excellence, money's going to come flying towards you. And I'm like,
Sign me up.
Like just little things like that.
I know. And you're an 8-year-old kid like being recruited by him. You hear that?
Yeah. You can never cheer lack of effort. You can never he said it's physically impossible to cheer lack of effort. You cannot physically cheer. It's impossible to cheer selfishness. You can't cheer poor body language. That's when I attack. I never yell at my players. If they're giving it their all, pat them on the butt, and you just take his minutes away. That's all you can do.
Right.
And then I had Steve Fisher, coach of San Diego State University of the Aztecs. He's on the show all the time, and he was the coach of the Fab Five at Michigan.
Yeah, of course.
And he's like an old-ass man. This guy's like 70 years old.
I was going to say, yeah, he's
about 70.
He
right
was old
around
in Michigan
70.
20 years ago.
And I asked him how he feels about the one and dones, and he goes, Jay, let me tell you something. He's the best. He goes, any college coach that tells you he doesn't want those one and dones is a flat-out liar. I wish I had one and dones.
Right. He does, though. Did he have, what's his name?
God, I don't know. College
Khalil or
basketball.
something. Yeah.
If he did, it was a rare thing.
By the way, what a great coach he turned out to be. Making a program out of San Diego State. Oh, my God.
Yeah. No kidding.
And unbelievable.
July 18th, I'm in Cincinnati at the Taft Theater, and I need you guys to fill it for me. You guys always say, when you going to come back to Cincinnati? And as Mark McGrath knows, as well as anybody, if it's not full, never.
Good boy.
If I go to the Taft Theater and it's a 1,600-seat theater and there's only 800 tickets sold, I ain't coming back.
Ain't coming back.
And if you don't believe me, go talk to Louisville, because I'm never setting foot in that godforsaken place again.
What size venue is it, Taft?
1,600 seats.
Oh, good. It's a big number, especially in Cincy.
Well, it's a big, huge town as far as the radio show goes.
Oh, good.
So you're in Sharknado 2. You do want to
Sharknado 2.
act more. Are you comfortable enough, like, if you were on a
getting there.
sitcom, like, say you're on the CW and there's like a nutty sit, like a...
If I could be a part of ensemble, yeah.
Like, let's say it's two broke girls and you're the guy that
Pops in every now and then,
You're the
the
pizza
neighbor.
guy, but you're on every episode, but with like 11 lines.
I can do that. I did an episode of The Neighbors this year. I was on the second to last episode of The Office, and I was like trading, improv with Ed Helms and stuff. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I've gotten comfortable.
What did you play in The Office?
I played. You'll never believe it. I was the host of the acapella karaoke that Ed Helms tried out for. So I was like, "Thanks for coming, everybody." I was that guy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, really out of character. And then I played a band member on The Neighbors. And then Sharknado is the first time I play a husband,
A guy,
Kari Orr's husband. Yeah, so I'm feeling more comfortable. I think I'd be great in an ensemble role. I'll chew up some scenery and split. You know what I mean? I haven't got the minutia of acting down yet.
No, but sitcoms, you don't have to know anything because they write you something so stupid. Like you walk to the refrigerator and you go, "Is this still good?" And then they hit the applause button. Everybody goes, "It's hilarious." He doesn't know, and you're holding like a jar of pickles, so that it doesn't go bad.
Maybe I could do that. I don't know. I'd love to, though. You know.
But are you willing to put Sugar Ray aside?
Yes, absolutely.
Jesus.
Actually, good. These are orange.
You know what? It's blood orange, but it really looks like University of Texas.
It's got a good feel to it, doesn't it?
It does feel nice.
And the problem with these suedes, if a drop of water gets on them, shoes ruined. Because it's got that dot on them. You know, that's the problem with these Clydes. I haven't worn them in a while, but you get a dot of water on them, it's there forever.
And you have kids, so there's a lot of things dropping at all times. You have twins.
I got twins.
How old are your twins?
Turned 4 yesterday. Yesterday being April 29th.
We record this podcast about a month ago. So if you're listening to this, you're in a time machine. Mark McGrath's time is precious because he's on the Under the Sun tour, underthesuntour.com with Blues Travelers, Spin Doctors, Uncle Cracker. It's an incredible tour. Basically, if you like hits from the 90s, that's the tour. So in a break of the tour, Mark McGrath agreed to come to the Jay Mohr Sports radio studios, and we're going to bang out this podcast. So that's when you say, like, the date. I just want to clarify for people going, well, April 29th. Huh?
Ah, gotcha. I'm slow, you know.
But you're not that slow.
Yeah, you're so quick. We're talking how quick you are. You're so quick, Jay, that when I talk to you, I feel like you're already on to something else.
Well, that's not because I'm quick and smart. It's because I have ADHD.
But there's 9 things going on in your head at all times, correct? I mean, you're thinking about sports. You're thinking about your family. I mean,
no, I didn't mean to cut you off so loudly. Like, no, you are wrong.
Get used to that. You are wrong, sir.
British House of Commons.
That's incorrect. Look across the dispatch box and tell the Prime Minister he's boring, the geezer.
Nay.
Like one-on-one like this, if you say something of import to me that I think is interesting, I'm thinking to myself, don't forget that for later. I'm kind of cataloging for like later in the podcast.
But you're in the now too, which is incredible.
I practice being present. I'm a Catholic who is an aspiring Buddhist, and I will die an aspiring Buddhist because enlightenment probably won't come my way. I already have kids myself, so we're both enlightened. But going back to twins.
But the Irish Catholic thing, I'd like to stop you right there because I'm that way too. And are you really a practicing Buddha?
No, I just dig it.
Well, I dig it too,
but I do practice
because we used to fight it, and internally we fight that, like, you know, because we're a Catholic doctrine, and we're taught to believe what we believe. So that whole like be here now thing is never part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
I imagine not yours either. How did you make that transition? Because I need to find some calmness and peace in my life. There's so much distortion in my head.
It's already inside you. The only Zen you find on a mountaintop is the Zen you carry up there with you.
Well, how do you change that internally?
You just make the conscious decision, and like when you're driving. All right, perfect example.
I want to be a better person, but you have to take steps to do that.
Well, you're a pretty good dude. I don't know about, but if you want peace and you want to, find the signal in the noise, is what I'm hearing from you.
Yes.
There's great books like Everyday Buddhism, Zen quote books, like weird stuff like that.
Right.
And there's little activities you can do, like when you're stuck in traffic. You turn on the radio, you get angry, you're flipping the channels, you listen to Howard Stern, you listen to Opie and Anthony, you listen to music, podcasts. It's the only time in your day that you are alone with yourself, just simply sitting in a chair. Just turn everything off and just sit in traffic.
Oh, I don't know if I could do that.
But no, I'm telling you. That's it.
That's just an exercise you can do.
That's a perfect exercise in simply being present.
I don't believe you do that.
I do it. I do it quite often.
Do you listen to the radio too?
Well, yeah, but when I'm in traffic, I go, oh, this is one of those times, and I just shut it down and I just sit, and the mind wanders and wanders and wanders.
Is it depressing? Like, don't you start, like, thinking too much? I mean, that's my problem. I start thinking too much.
And what do you think about?
Everything going on in my life, dude. Everything. And it just will not, and it forbids me to be in the now, enjoy things. I'm always worrying about tomorrow and the next moment.
You forbid you from
whoever does. It doesn't matter. Whoever's doing that, it's what's happening.
I heard we're getting back to your big feet. Don't think it. See, that's a catalog. That. I'm just kidding. I'm done with feet. Done with feet. That's how much fuck feet.
I have the worst feet too, dude. I got bunions and
worse than mine.
It's a drag. Why? Do you have Rodman toes or something?
Bro, I put a picture of my foot on Instagram, Instagram.com/Jay Mohr Sports. Look at that deformity.
See, I got a little of that. Let me, I'm working on that hard. That's pretty. Look.
That's not even. That's just a regular bunion. That's not even close to what I got.
But what do you call that? Hammer time?
That is.
What is that?
Well, that's what I call it when me and the wife are getting freaky. She's like, "What about hammer time? Is hammer time going to be here?" I'm like, "Well, hammer time just had a pedicure. He doesn't want to be bothered right now because he had callus remover." What happened was,
Do you get pedicures?
Oh yeah.
Are they delicious?
You don't go?
I don't like to be touched. I'm Irish. I don't like massages. I don't like anybody touching my fingernails or my feet or any of that stuff.
I heard a great expression, going back to your Buddhist thing and how do I become more present?
Yes.
Everything you've ever worried about in your life turned out the exact way it was going to anyway. So that helps me a lot, too.
You know what? That is actually so well.
Go to jmohr.com and click that Amazon banner. If you're going to buy anything through Amazon, do it through jmohr.com. My man Michael B. from Carson, California. This is your podcast, dude. You did it. I appreciate it. Michael B. says, check out what I just bought through your Amazon link at jmohr.com. I bought this handy storage box to keep all of my important documents, along with a new phone case and batter. I think he meant to say battery, but I'll give you the pass, Michael B. Totaling about $30. Friends, goes to show you, it's not how much you buy. It's just the fact that you're getting after it using the Amazon banner. I appreciate it. Michael B. goes, I'm not the only crazy person left in this world. My best wishes to Nikki and the kids. Put your name on it, Jay Mohr's, your fellow Mohrier. Michael B., Carson, California. Michael B., thank you very much. You guys go to jmohr.com, click that Amazon banner. If you're going to buy anything through Amazon, do it through jmohr.com, and that's how we keep this podcast up and running. Much love, Michael B. from Carson, California. Put your name on it.
Put your name on it. Just put your name on it. That's all I say. Be a man or a woman. Put your name on it.
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
How the fuck you gonna know how to be great if you don't study greatness? Look at the game tape.
Donuts.
If you want to battle, it's either that you will or you won't.
You know, you're not a bad-looking man, Mr. Gals.
But you are, Blanche. You are in that chair.
There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Hey, man.
Mohr Stories podcast with the great Mark McGrath, lead singer of Sugar Ray. And I got to tell you something. You have some big-ass feet on you, dude. When we were in the garage at the Fake Mustache Studios, now we're on an undisclosed location, I didn't notice that you were rocking the size 18 Bob McAdoo Pumas there.
Do they look that big, dude?
Bro, you got some.
It's a 12.
Boat. That's a 12?
Yeah, it's a 12, and I got the Irish curse, so, you know, it ain't the big feet kind of thing, you know what I mean?
So big feet means big socks and shoes, that's it?
And little underwear, yep.
Yeah, you could put out fires with them feet. Yeah,
got the blood orange Clydes on, the suede Pumas, dude. I love these things.
Don't wear those in a Crip neighborhood, man.
I'm
Myself.
What a trip.
On integration.
Is he able to do that with other pains? Like if you hurt your knee? I mean, is that a sort of a psychological one? I mean, it's interesting.
Well, that's the one anecdote from the book. I don't know if there's going to be a follow-up.
I could bore the shit out of your listeners, Jay. Believe me. You know what I mean? I'm fascinated by it.
You're the star of Sharknado, too. Let's
I don't want to brag. Gig. You know, I watched Sharknado last year like everybody else did. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. Tweeting about it, blah, blah, blah. So I was a fan. And then they called me a couple months ago. And said,
you were a fan of the show?
Fan of the movie, yeah. If you've seen Sharknado, you're a fan.
I actually did not see it.
You got to see it, dude. Right. It's Netflix. Go see it.
I'm waiting for the book.
You'll be waiting a long time. So they called me a couple months ago and said, you want to be in Sharknado? Now, I've done some acting, but it's usually a cameo. It's a quick, how you doing? And I'm out of here.
Hey, I'm Mark McGrath.
Yeah, no threat to the movie. You know, no Bob Sugar. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I get the script, and I'm in top to bottom in the entire movie. So I became a huge part of Sharknado 2. It's coming out on July 30th on Sci-Fi Channel, and there is a real passion in that genre. If you like that movie, that type of horror, I mean, you get to go to Comic-Con, you get to go to these horror shows the rest of your life. So
you get a little extra cabbage on the side.
I'm just saying, Jay. So it's nice to be part of that sort of fraternity, if you will, of movie. And finally, a movie that I could be in, which I couldn't even make it bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't require, Daniel Day-Lewis didn't drop out and say, let's get McGrath. You know what I mean? And
that did happen. They were doing the sequel to My Left Foot, and Daniel Day-Lewis tapped out, and they got Mark McGrath.
There you go.
But they ran into some financing problems. Never got made. So Sharknado 1. Did the shark die? Did the Sharknado get destroyed by somebody?
It actually did. It did. But what they're doing now, the lead character, Finn, played incredibly by Ian Ziering, and I will say it's his earnest approach to the role that really resonated with people. Because they make a gang of these shark movies, these horror movies. They make them every single month. But for some reason...
I'm still bugging out that it was played beautifully by Ian Ziering.
It was. And if you see the movie, you'll know what I'm saying. Right. Because, there was no winking at the camera, like, look what I'm doing. He played it like he was playing John McClane in Die Hard. I mean, he really took it that seriously. And Ian is that kind of guy. And I think his acting really carried the movie. It kind of like, trickled down to all of us. Am I really talking about like serious acting for Sharknado? And am I really talking about being an actor? But no, he was really hugely responsible for it. And this one's great. I mean, I found myself acting with Judd Hirsch in a cab on Broadway. Judd Hirsch is in it. Robert Klein's in it. Richard Kine's in it. All said, for some reason, that's resonating with me.
All the things that are on your plate right now that you're like, what about this? What about that? What about this? Look, you're going to have a meeting about X, Y, or Z. You're going to have a conversation with so-and-so. It's all going to turn out the way it is anyway. I just discovered this in New York. I went to get a massage, and I had so much buzzing around in my head. And before I went down, I'm in my hotel room, and I went down to the spa to get a massage.
Right.
And I took everything that was bothering me, and I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I put it inside a white envelope. Blank. And when I got to the spa, I handed it to the guy at the front desk, and I said, give this to me when I leave, okay? And then anytime I was on the massage table and something popped into my head, I pictured that white envelope, and I went, no, it's not here. It's over there.
Did you tell yourself to do that, or was that an exercise you know how to do? That's fascinating.
I actually thought of it before, because there was a lot going on.
That's a great idea.
And then what happens is stuff that you forgot to put on the list, when they pop up in your head, it's almost like a roach crawling across the floor. It's so inconsequential because it's just by itself.
Right.
Because all these things that bother us is like this monumental.
It piles up.
It's just noise. But like when you put them all in an envelope and seal it and go get your massage, and then when one floats out, you're like, this is like an ant.
It's like you control it. It's almost like mind control. You should be a doctor, dude. There's a lot going on in that brilliant head of yours, Jay.
Great book I read, and I'll text it to you later if you forget. It's by this guy Stein. He's a psychiatrist, but he's a Buddhist, and he realized he couldn't. He was telling people Buddhist stories to help them, but it's a religion. It's completely against the law if you're a doctor to spread any religious beliefs whatsoever, especially for a psychiatrist.
Right.
So we had to figure out a way to re-talk, and he came up with expressions that were not in the Buddhist doctrine to explain.
For example?
Unintegration, which is, I'll get to, but the name of the book is Going to Pieces Without Falling Apart.
Nice.
And it's a great book.
It's a good country lyric.
Right before your dog humps your truck.
Right. Dropkick me, Jesus, to the goalposts of life.
I love it. He had a bad back problem, the author, and he went on like this Buddhist retreat, and his back was killing him, and there were twins at this retreat that did like a juggling show. They'd throw like bowling pins back and forth, and they taught him to juggle. And he realized as he was juggling, it wasn't until the next day he realized his back didn't hurt when he was juggling because his mind wasn't inside his shell.
Right.
It was outside. It was completely with the balls. He was unintegrated from